Put up the Regents exam results on their computers. I put together a chart that showed where our kids scored this year on the Regents exams. Living environment, we had one student who failed the exam, two that passed through the safety net, which means that they're CSE students, so that they're able to score between 55 and 64 and still get credit for passing the exam. So then 5 passed from the 65 to 79 level, 11 from the 80 to 89, and 90 to 100 with 17 kids. And it shows the numbers for each of the science things. We only had 3 students, one in neuroscience, one in living environment, one in physics who did not pass. So again, the science department is doing an outstanding job as far as getting the kids through the state exams in a passing fashion. In the algebra, you'll see 1 student failed, 1 passed by the safety net, 20 were in the 65 to 79 range, 80 to 89 was 11, 1 in the 90 to 100, and 33 total kids took the exam. Some of them were 1-year algebra students, some of them were in the 1A, 1B, 2-year program, so I just split that out so that you could see how the kids did from each of those programs. I think to the right where it says college and career ready, the information out there is that people that are looking at whether our kids are ready for college as a career are saying that students should be scoring 80% or higher on the math exams to be college and career ready. And when I took that out, I found that 12 out of 33 students passed with an 80 or higher, so that's 36%. So I think that that's an area, if you look at all the math classes that had exams, 36%, 38%, 27%, were college and career ready, getting an 80% or higher. But when you look at the failure rates, we only had 1 student fail the algebra, 1 failed the geometry, and 2 failed the algebra 2 trig. So we're heavy in the 65 to 80 range, and so that's something that I think we need to look at as a priority to how are we going to be able to look at fixing that, or improving that, I should say.
Were they failures or no-shows? Because we did have some no-show students.
This was based on the reports with individual names that I counted how many kids.
But that was a failure, so that's how many
There-
actually tested not,
yeah.
didn't show up.
Those are tested kids.
That would still be held against the district.
That's
Or
it.
to the state.
At this stage of the region, are kids identifying interest in college versus no interest in college? Do you start to get really concerned about people that are falling outside of the college?
It's not just college ready though, because even the people that work with the Southwest Tech, the CTE programs, are saying career ready,
Okay.
not just college ready, career ready. So we need to be looking, and we haven't got results on our 3 through 8th grade ELA math to see, where we're going over the long run too, if it's gotten better, or if it's, it's something we're going to be tracking, I think. And this is where the SLOs and the APPR and the data-driven instruction is going back and looking at these kind of things and figuring out where do we have a weakness and what do we need to identify as making it better.
Do you have any of this similar information from previous years, or is this the first time you tracked it like this?
I can give them to you last year's numbers.
See if there's any trends that, start to...
Yep.
I think it is a real improvement in the past failure for the math department.
Now,
The English, every student passed, 4 were with the safety net, but you'll look there, it says that 8 students were between a 65 and a 79, 6 were between an 80 and 89, 9 between a 90 and 100, so there were 27 students that tested, and they're saying when looking at that test compared to college and career ready kids, if they scored a 75 or higher, that they consider that student able to handle the ELA in the college or the career path, whichever one they choose. So 63% of our students are okay in that area, so that's not as big a concern as the math area as far as preparing kids for that. The history gets a little bit, there's a lot of different numbers there. In the Global 10, it's a really tough class because it's a 2-year test, and it's a tough subject. It's not something that kids really like say, wow, I want to take Global. 9 students failed the test. 2 of them passed under the safety net. 18 were in the 65 to 79 range, 6 in the 80 to 89, 11 in the 90 to 100. 46 kids took the test. One of the students who took the test and failed is on the IEP track and only had to take it because she'd been in an inclusion program in that class. So she doesn't need to take it again, she doesn't need to pass it. It's not a requirement. Of the 4 CSE students who didn't pass, they're able to take the RCT still, the global test for the RCT level, and 2 out of the 4 passed that test. So their graduation requirements are taken care of. So we still only have 2 kids to get through the global as far as a state test to get their diploma. We had 4 different types of pictures on the Global 9-10, or the Global 10. We had the group that we piloted, the acceleration program, and Mrs. Morgan had selected 6 students that she felt were ready. These kids knocked the socks out of this test. They scored between 92 and 98, the 6 of them. I mean, the average is at least 95 of that group of kids. There was one student who's a 9th grader that wants to take the AP Modern European History, and his teacher, and he told me that he was ready to take the test, and there is a law that lets them challenge it if I approve it. He scored 88 on the exam, so he obviously was ready. And for him, the carrot of wanting to do the AP European history was what pushed him and motivated. And I'm hoping that that's kind of like jumps, beyond just the history, but we'll see. I'm watching him. We had a conversation about that. The AIS Global, there were 2 students who still needed to take the global exam because they failed it last June and last August. One of them passed the regular test and the other one passed their RCT, so we were successful in catching those 2 kids up. And then the other numbers in the 2-year global program as just those kids. Then you see the U.S. history, we had 5 failures, 3 passed within the safety net, 14, you can see the numbers there. And I just split out the U.S. history from the enriched history. The enriched history kids obviously are the kids that should be getting the 90 to 100s, and they did. There were a couple of students in the enriched class because of scheduling and the need, if they wanted to do Spanish 3, they had to be in enriched U.S. history or something like that because of the singleton. But all of them passed from the enriched, and of the U.S. history kids that failed, 5 of them took the RCT, 3 passed the RCT, so we only have 2 kids that we need to get past the U.S. history as far as graduation requirements. So overall, it's a positive outlook again on our Regents exam. Our teachers do a good job of preparing their kids, and we'll be looking at the numbers to figure out how do we still improve in the areas we need to improve.
Is this the last year for the safety nets?
The current 9th graders do not have the RCT as a safety net anymore. They only have the 55 and higher rule. So they could still score 55 to 64 and pass the test, but they won't have the option of the RCT starting with this year's 9th graders. So we do have some summer school kids, not as many as we had last year. Governor is running the program, Canton is not, so we have some in OFA, some in Governor. We have 1 6th grader and 1 8th grader here, and we are trying a pilot blended learning program. One of the boys that's going to be taking a class this summer is not offered in summer school, so we've got him hooked up for Algebra 2 Trig, and he'll have to take his exam in January. And then we have a 6th grader and an 8th grader that are going to be doing a middle school blended learning program where they have a teacher monitoring, they can work at home, We've set it up though that it's 4 weeks long, minus a day. They can only miss 1 day of summer school, and if they finish what's required for 6th grade or 8th grade, they will start their 7th grade work or their 9th grade work and accelerate, so when they go to school in the fall, they might be a little bit ahead and have some success and do all right and know that they can handle it. One of the programs is, well, the one pilot that we're using is called Grad Point. It's through Novinet, and it's took to Pearson. And when I had checked on another one, and when I told them we had a pilot program, she said, well, I'll let you do ours. Also, Skills Tutor, that's an RTI program for K to 8 versus like more of a credit recovery in the Grad Point. The middle school, it might be that Skills Tutor turns out being the better one. I don't know, but we're going to do some comparison. We got the 2 programs for less than $800 for the summer school, so that was positive. I think that's all I've got.
When we're looking at these math scores, Michelle, is there any way to compare those to see if the Canton kids
Yep.
got it? I mean,
When that information comes out, I think that's another way to look, to how are we doing versus schools our own size, and Sue and I talked about it, are we getting as the same percentage of kids in the upper range as these other schools in the upper, percentage of kids,
and that will kind of tell us whether the
Right.
test was hard or.
and where we fall.
Yeah.
So that's information that we're definitely gonna be looking into.
Okay, other things, we currently have 2 positions that both anticipated, we're looking for board members. One, if we do lose our phys ed teacher, phys ed health, so that is an anticipated opening. Do I have 2 board members that would like to serve on that if it comes to reality? The other one is anticipated kindergarten position again, only if we get the number of students, which we set at 45, we're currently at 42. But if 2 people are willing to serve, then if I know, we can just move on.
I'm going to.
Very good. Thank you.
Sue, can I interrupt for a minute? I got one more thing. There are 3 committees that I was supposed to be getting going, well, we finally have them going. On the 10th, the athletic academic policies meeting, the retention policies meeting that day, and the next day, the take it back. Athletics and electronic device on the 10th, and retention on the 11th. So we'll get started and get back on those things as quickly as we can.
What time is the retention?
5 to 7. We sent letters out, we should get letters. 9 to 12 for the athletics. We're open to anyone that wants to come, as far as input too. We've got representation from students, teachers, parents, and board members, but who knows who will really show up when it comes to the day. Others want to be involved. Okay, thank you.
One of the issues, there's a letter here I wanted to include, and also just to point out, we do bus to Rome each day, and we've always, Governor has contracted with us for a minimal amount. Frank kind of figured out what it would cost for the driver, the mileage, the monitor, and everything. Sent it to me, I sent it over to Governor and said, we're looking to share the cost, not absorb the entire cost. So we're splitting that bill in half, so we're getting about $21,000 from Governor, and in the past, this year we were up to $7,000, so it's a major difference. So just a positive, but I want to credit Frank because it was his idea. Okay, our new van is here. Picked it up today. Drove it back from home. We'll be using it for driver's ed starting tomorrow. If you see it, it says Edward Knox, not Edward Knox. That will be fixed. The decal out of the package said Edward would get noticed, so it was on the van. So hopefully in the next day or 2 or 3, when we get a new decal, we'll correct it.
Have to drive over it back tomorrow.
No, okay, but, again, it's like, yes, I think they'll notice.
Yeah.
And then you'll probably see it drive around the community with magnetic plates that say driver's ed car, so that it'll be used as that first.
We were okay resolving the driver's ed car vehicle.
Yes, we just waited till today to get the van, they waited to drive, so starting tomorrow.
Good.
So all that is settled, resolved, without any problems.
That came in wilderness green, what was it called?
White,
Is there, and this is all, so,
Usually the one
somebody
that-
decided
the
that
fire
this,
building.
that's been broke since I was a board member years and years ago. Is there anything we can fix that? Check it
right
out.
outside here,
There's a sign up by the road. It's been broke, there's a hole on the side of the, it says Edwards Knox.
mm-hmm,
It's been broke for years, it's not very,
okay,
Who does your sign?
for that, I'll speak to John, I don't know,
Northeastern sign, or someone local, or
that,
someone else?
check with John, that's right, not sure. Our summer school program is set, seems like the program for summer rec is growing every day, and, so we'll have that an extended day program. We'll all be starting here in the building on the 9th. So, interesting.